Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. We're going to do a quick first look at the game Panzer Battles, 11th Panzer on the Chir River. This is from Multiman Publishing, The Gamers, and it is standard combat series. And the series designer and the game designer were Dean Essig, and Lee Forrester was the developer. So I kind of took a quick look at this in a recent video, and this is going to be the official first look at it. So real quickly, take a look at the back. As you can see, right, we've got the famous area around State Farm 79 there. And yeah, so this is medium complexity and medium solitaire suitability. There are several different scenarios. This does have 2 maps, as you can see. And as is the case with standard combat series and most of the Gamers games, you do get a couple of 6-siders, and that's pretty much all you need. So let's take a look inside the box. Open it up here. All right, we got our really bright, this is our really bright thing here. So it tells you what should be in your box. This is kind of standard with MMP stuff. So you have contact info in case something is amiss. There's one die. There's the other one. So this one we get green and white. You do get a kind of a variety with Inflection Point, which is the most recent game of MMPs I've played. We got a blue and a white. So these are the rules. It is version 1.8, I believe. So these are the rules. They are not lengthy, as you can see, 12 pages. This is relatively simple by the gamer standards. We also have one counter sheet, looks like. Yep, one counter sheet. So we got some Soviet forces and some German forces, as you would expect. This Luftwaffe unit. Now, these are all familiar to me, having looked at Inflection Point recently, and I'm going to do gameplay, or the plan is to do gameplay with this game and Inflection Point and probably Ghost Panzer from Worthington, which is a tactical level look at it. And I don't have the OCS Case Blue game. I'm considering picking up Enemy at the Gates, which is the predecessor version of Case Blue, only because Case Blue is ridiculously expensive on the secondary market, and I refuse. Here's the series rules. So that was just the rules for the game itself. This is the standard rules, which run you a whopping 8 pages. And of course, we have the map. So 2 maps, in fact. 500 meters per hex. So this is zoomed in at a much greater level than the map from Inflection Point. And as I usually do, we'll take a quick look at the rules. And as I said, quick. I'm not planning on spending much time on the rules here. So you can see you've got your intro, note about version 1.8. I think this is still the current version. I'm not 100% sure about that. It's been a while since I played an SCS game. But how to learn the rules, right? Your components with the map, the playing pieces, setup notes, etc., cumulative effects, the rounding rule. We'll get into all this when we do gameplay. Many of you may probably, or I'm assuming many of you are somewhat familiar with this series. It's very popular because it is very sensible and easy to pick up. It doesn't have a lot of the more advanced things that, say, OCS has and BCS has, or even the Tactical Combat Series, TCS. They're all more complex than this one. So Fog of War, right? Here's our sequence of play. Pretty straightforward. You got movement, combat, exploitation, and only some units are capable of that. Then the supply. Then the second player turn is just the same thing, right? Very straightforward. Your zones of control and their effects, right? Normal zones of control structure. You do have rules for river blocking it or eliminating it. Movement examples, your terrain effects chart, basic terrain effects chart. Each game will have its own. You've got movement here, talking about how you move your units, terrain effects on movement, restrictions on movement, stacking rules, reinforcements, overrun combat. Did I skip a page? I don't think I did. No. Oh, okay. Then we get to overrun combat and then regular combat. and how it handles things like the results, your terrain effects on combat, restrictions, determining your odds, your step losses. We've got three examples rather of combat, and then retreating and the path of retreat, your no retreat option, advance after combat, exploitation, supply and how you trace it, and then you're tracing the supply line, out of supply, hex control. Supply in this game is it's a factor, but it's not as involved as um, the other games. Now we already kind of looked at the counter sheets, but we'll take a quick look, right? So here you can see the 15th Panzer. We've got the 10th Panzer Grenadiers, and the circle number up there, I believe, is the number of steps that they each have. 111th Panzer Grenadier, etc. Right? So you see all of the various things here. And the disorganized markers, you've got various markers here down, turn marker, and so on. Air units, all that good stuff. Some guards units in red, right? And we'll get into, kind of all the specifics on the movement and the factors at the bottom that are in yellow on some units and they're in white text, black text, etc. All of that stuff typically means something. And now for our Panzer Battles specific rules. They're actually longer than the main rules, but that includes the scenario stuff in it. So these are just modifications, and the case numbers here match up to the case numbers in the main rulebook. Makes things really easy. So you have your turn sequence, your scale, your terrain, unit info, stacking, etc. All of this, maybe it doesn't. I thought it did, but maybe that's not. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt here. Yeah, apparently not. So I'm wrong about that, and I caught it because I can read. But yeah, so you see we've got 4 pages of rules. Then you got some designer notes, and then the scenarios for the various battles that are covered in here. This is your basic entirety, I guess, of it. The entire fight to secure the Chir River bridgehead, covering 7th December to 20th December of 42. It allows the Soviet player in particular more flexibility in executing the attack that historically ended in disaster for players wanting to follow a more historical flow. See scenario 2.4. So it starts a little bit earlier. And actually, the Battle of the Chir in Inflection Point starts on December 7th as well. So then you have 2.2 is German strike first. It's an alternate campaign scenario that begins with the Germans on the attack. 2.3 is the fight for State Farm 79. That's only 1 map and 2 turns, so a nice short one. I'll be Balk. That would be Hermann Balk, the commander of the 11th Panzer Division. A now depleted 11th Panzer Division returns to State Farm 79 to confront a new Soviet threat from the west. Okay, and then you've got, that's the 2.4 that was mentioned for the more historical, I think, if I remember correctly. 2.5 containment battle scenario. This is the German fight to restore the Chir River bridgehead after the destruction of the Soviet 1st Tank Corps, 9th to December 20th, December 20, 1942. And that's it. Then you've got your order of battle for chit activations. And on the back, you got your combat table, your terrain effects, the kill roll, and your artillery DG roll. All right, so now let's take a look at the maps. Okay, so trying to fit the whole thing in one shot would be tough. So we're not going to attempt to do that. Now looking at this terrain, I'm quite familiar with it right now because, as I said, I've been playing the Battle of Chir on BCS. So this is zoomed in on what you see in that one. And of course, here's the river. Now the Don is down in that direction, but the bridgehead was in this area here, and I think it might have been here. But anyway, the fighting, like the Soviets on setup will be in an arc kind of in this area, and the Germans will be down in here on the defense. And the 11th Panzer comes up from the south. So Surovikino here is the big city, big being probably not quite the right word for it, but it is a larger urban area, I guess, for this particular part of the Soviet Union at the time. So this is the top map, and as I said, the river comes in here and courses its way through from the northwestern corner down to the southeastern corner of this map. This is map A. We're going to switch it up now and take a look at map B. So down here this is map B. Down here at the very bottom, we've got our turn track. It's 6 turns in the full campaign, which runs 7, 8. The turn 1 is 7th and 8th of December, and the 6th turn is the 19th and 20th. So there's your time window for this particular action. Here is the State Farm 79, Sovkhoz 79. The big again, operative word, Nizhne Chirskaya is down here. There is a tiny little bend of the Don down here in this very far southeastern corner. Got some entry areas over here on the left side as well, but you can see it's particularly in this area, there's a lot of clear terrain, really open. You do have some, some hedge type things or gullies. I'd have to look at the terrain key to know for sure, but some water, of course, as well. This is not the Chir. It actually isn't labeled. Oh, it is. It's the Solon, I guess. The Chir is over here. And of course, it exits the map at the top, up there, and it heads that way. So this is the second map, and that is going to do it for this first look at the game. Panzer Battles, the 11th Panzer Division on the River Chir, from Multi-Man Publishing, The Gamers, designed by Dean Essig. And we will be playing this game as part of my series on the 11th Panzer at the Chir. Basically looking at it from 3 different levels, perhaps 4 if I can get my hands on a relatively inexpensive copy of Enemy at the Gates. I am not spending, $5, $6, $7, $8, $900 on Case Blue. Sorry, just not going to do it. But yeah, that's the plan. So that will do it. As I said, we are done here. Thanks for watching. Quick shout out to my channel members. Appreciate the support as always. But yeah, we are done. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, maybe, hyping at least. Also, if you have any questions, comments, put them in the comment section. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. But yes, we are done. Until next time, I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered. And as always, happy gaming.